MX2 riders are down on the grid waiting for their first race today, and in a moment you'll see how they finished in the qualification race yesterday on Saturday. But I've got Josh Coppins here with me, the factory Aprilia rider. Josh, good to see you pulling up a Pro Systems bar stool. Final Grand Prix this season. It's been quite an interesting career for you, hasn't it? Since what, 93, your first GP, Manjimup?
Yeah, final GP ever. So yeah, it's a strange feeling, but the time's right. So I'm looking forward to going out with a good race today. And it has been a long time, and yeah, I'm happy to have had a good time.
Obviously, the MX2 guys are about to get underway. You watched the qualifying race yesterday. Who's your money on here? Is it going to be Roczen and Musquin? What about Frossard? Maybe even Paulin?
No, it'll be between Roczen and Musquin, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Well, 15-second board is up. 5-second board. They're about to get underway. MX2 race 1. Roczen gets off to a good jump, but look at that, a bit of elbows between him and Marvin Musquin as they head down into the first turn. One of the CNS Kawasaki's in there, so too the monster in his Yamaha of Gauthier Paulin. So the loser there, possibly, apart from those two guys at the back there. 262, Giacomo Del Segato, former European MX2 rider in 2010. But Roczen certainly losing out as he went through turn 1, because it was Musquin. I tell you what, good recovery there from number 94 on the Tech Europe Suzuki, Ken Roczen, as he tries to hound now the Frenchman Marvin Musquin. Just behind on the Kawasaki is 89, Jeremy Van Horebeek. Gauthier Paulin in there in 4th position, yes, on that black Yamaha. And just behind them, possibly, Arnold Tonus, maybe Michael Lieb. I tell you what, Lieb's ridden a good start here, and there's Roczen just jumping short on that uphill triple. That triple very slippery this morning in practice, certainly for the MX2 guys, Josh, as it looked like Paulin coming under pressure from Tonus.
Yeah, not many guys doing it this morning, pretty slippery, and you saw that by how short Roczen came up, and Musquin opted not to do it. So, but Roczen, awesome recovery from not such a good start.
Yeah, it was definitely tight between him and Musquin going into that first turn. Obviously, last week there was a bit of pressure on Marvin Musquin as he was in search of his second world title, but Roczen put in a fine display all by himself last weekend and in qualification yesterday, and it's really about these two, as we suggested, but your money is on Marvin Musquin. But I tell you what, Roczen looking good on the early laps here. Goes down the inside and nudges the Frenchman aside. So this is game on, folks, because Roczen and Marvin Musquin, the pressure is off. First, second and third positions in the World Championship already decided. Musquin a world title winner. Roczen second, cannot be caught by Stephen Frossard in third. So this is what the Italian fans want to see at the final round, isn't it? Yeah. A real showdown between these two guys.
Yeah, they want to see a good race for sure. So I think Musquin was quite happy to let Roczen pass there. It looked like he just sort of looked back and just quite casual and just sort of let it happen. So
yeah. That's Nick Coomberg going down, 8.24 on a KTM. Just, we see, well, actually, what we can't see by the TV pictures, how greasy the circuit is. Quite hard pack underneath, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really hard pack. They put down a bit of water and it turns slippery fast. So another person down here.
One of the Kawasaki's, possibly. There's Roczen goes through. Musquin second. Was it Van Horebeek? No, it wasn't Van Horebeek. Frossard. It was Frossard gone down in that final corner, so he'd gone down from 4th position or 5th position and dropping down the leaderboard, not even over the line yet. So a costly mistake there in that very slippery, I would think, final turn.
Yeah, as soon as they drop a bit of water down, it's very inconsistent. You can't really see it, so it can catch you out.
This wave section here catching a few riders out as well. It's difficult to find a good rhythm through there, isn't it? Watching the MX2 guys through there yesterday, coming out of the turn, double, hitting the third one, slamming into the fourth to double over the last two. The MX1 guys were able just to get that little bit of extra distance to make it a little bit, what, 2-3 was it? Or 2-2-1, I think?
Yeah, 3, 1.5, 2 kind of thing.
So it's tough even on you, for you guys.
Yeah, definitely. Paulin overjumped the triple there a little bit. I think he's looking better today than he had struggled yet. Oh!
And very slick through there as well, isn't it? Here we see a replay. Look at these two. Down the inside now on the left-hand side as we look at it. Marvin Musquin just cutting across the front of the Tech Europe Suzuki. Gauthier Paulin getting a good jump alongside him in the yellow with the black sleeves. Michael Lieb on that Rockstar Buff Kawasaki. Jake Nichols were on, what, just behind there. And is that Lupino? I think
we're
possibly
on board with Lupino by the looks. Yep, 77.
So yeah, because Gauthier Paulin a little bit further up on the other black Yamaha in the race, but a good start for Jake Nichols. He's in 8th place at the moment. Let's give you a quick rundown. Roczen leads from Musquin, Van Horebeek there, number 89 in 3rd on the Kawasaki CLS. Tonus 4th, Paulin, Osborne, Lieb, Nichols, Roulance, and Christophe Charlier down in 10th position. In 11th is Mattis Caro from Sean Simpson, Nikolai Larsen, Martin Machek 14th, Harry Kulas, Julian Lieber, and Cedric Lieber as well, 16th and 17th. Nick Treese, Alessandro Lupino, who we were on board with coming out of turn 1, and Denny Philippart's down in 20th place. But Josh, before you head off to the MX1 race, high points and low points for your World Championship career, because longer than most, but it's been pretty good as well. What, third 3 times, second
couple of times, I think. Yeah. High points. 07, I lost the championship, but I was pretty good that year. So won 5 Grand Prix and podiumed every week, so that was pretty good. 2002, when I battled with Pichon, that was the first year I really stepped it up. And then I think 06, when I come back from injury to beat Stefan, only guy that year to beat Stefan. I know it was only once, so that's a bit. I
know how you feel. I mean, I had a similar year with Sebastian Tortelli in '96.
But still, I still remind Stefan of it. So otherwise, he had the perfect season. So I was quite happy to take that away from him.
And he can't say he had a perfect season because of you. So he's always going to be forever.
He got a lot of records, but he didn't get that one.
Well, there you go. That's one way of putting it. But obviously, for next year, you're going to be going home, riding back down in Australia and New Zealand as well. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I've always wanted to race in Australia for a season. Never did it. I came straight to Europe as a kid. So head back there, race Australian Motocross Championships for CDR Yamaha. So looking forward to that.
And the team manager there?
Team manager's Gary Ben. Team owner's Craig Dack. So good affiliation with Yamaha, and just get back there and trying to win a championship before I hang up the helmet.
Perfect. And obviously going to be moving, not the wife, but girlfriend, longtime partner, Lisa Church, and the 1.5 kids, second one on the way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a bit of a family man these days. So that's another good reason to go home and get back on the farm and enjoy it.
But first GP, Mancham at 125's 93. Did you ever think that it would lead to a long and prosperous career in Grand Prix racing?
Never. I never thought I'd do this good. I never thought I'd get this far.
Difficult coming from New Zealand, isn't it? Other end of the earth, really, for you guys when you think about it. But like you say, there's been other guys come over and done it, BT, the King brothers as well. But
exactly.
But no, it's certainly been great to have you riding the World Championship. But here we are, the final round though, 2010.
Oh! Lucky.
Tonus.
See him try and do a different thing there.
Yeah, just unfortunate. But we're going down to pit lane. Always at the wrong time.
Great result for Arno at the moment. I know he's 4th. Good result yesterday as well. Has he got what it takes to keep up there at the top?
He was good yesterday in the qualifying heat, and seems like he likes these conditions and this track. And if he can stay where he is now in the first heat, we can see what he can do in the second heat. But he looks okay. He looks like comfortable. So let's hope he can stay there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and at the moment, Tonus coming under pressure from the number 21, Paulin, the winner from a week ago at Lerock. How tough was that circuit last week at Lerock, Josh?
Oh, it killed me. I was happy to say that I'm nearly finishing after that race, that's for sure. See the line from Paulin?
Nice line.
Ooh, it's so hard to pass here. It looks easy. Ooh,
made it work.
So hard. You see how hard he had to... Oh, no.
Ran wide. But yeah, the logic and the thinking, just running just outside of those track markers. But it was working really hard on that Yamaha to find a way, like 3-4 corners in succession. Jumped short though on the Rebutizer tabletop jump because Tonus already come across. Is he going to square off the turn? No, can't quite do what Pampamaya did on Chiara Fontanesi in the women's race a little earlier on. But quite a big step up through that right-hander there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really difficult coming out of that turn, that 180s. You see the guys really struggling there. Also, this jump's hard to get up and over.
Yeah, see the MX2 guys really stretching through there, and also double triple coming back past the first turn as well. I noticed not all the MX2 guys getting over there. No problems for you guys though, surely. Double triple.
Double triple's no problem. The jump before it, I'm struggling a little bit to get over, but like I said, it's really hard to pass on this track. You look at Paulin working, and just not being able to get the pass done. Different line there.
Good sequence.
That's where Tonus nearly crashed earlier.
Right, Paulin, is he going to be hard on the brakes down here? Very, very tricky to go hard down through there, though, isn't it? I mean, we've got some lines off to the left now. We never had those yesterday. It was very slick in the qualifying races.
Looks like there's grip there, but honestly, there's not.
No one tripling through there between these two guys. Interesting to see if Roczen, who still leads from Musquin, I wonder if they're actually getting over that. And Van Horebeek as well, the first of the CLS Kawasaki's. We saw Frossard, his teammate, crash at the final turn at the end of the first lap. So Frossard way down the order, is he? Just trying to see him on our leaderboard, not even inside the first 20. So a costly mistake, push for him. He cannot lose third place in the championship. But Paulin, once again, trying to find a way around the inside and around the outside of Arnold Tonis. Here's that line that he used quite innovatively over the step-up. Watch for Paulin here, round to the outside. He's going to try and square off again, but he just has to... You see why, though? The choppy bumps coming out of there onto that plateau.
Tonis read it. He cut a bit tighter, but we might see something here.
Yeah, Paulin, hold on the brakes.
Yeah.
Keeping it clean. I'll tell you what, if he was going for the championship, maybe he wouldn't have been so clean, but finds a line around the outside this time and gets the jump and puts his Yamaha right across the front of the Suzuki coming into that bottom left-hand turn. And he mentioned these 180 turns at the bottom of the hill. Very slippery, not too much line developing as far as ruts to get into, and very slick and choppy coming out as well. You really have to be easy on the gas coming out of those bottom corners, don't you?
Yeah, Gautier's heart rate will be super high now. He worked for 2-3 laps to get that pass, so he'll be trying to breathe a little bit now.
Ken Roczen continues to lead. He's now 6.6 seconds clear after opening out that gap 2 seconds that last time around. Van Horebeek still third. Paulin now just coming over the line in fourth on the Yamaha from Arnold Tonis in fifth, who's in a battle actually with Zach Osborne and Joel Roulance and Sean Simpson to possibly make fifth in the championship. Osborne, though, in sixth in the motor at the moment, going to make it difficult for the Swiss rider Tonis. Actually, just in a couple of weeks' time, we've got the Red Bull Motocross of Nations. I noticed you were looking. Oh, this is Tonis getting it wrong, look.
Yeah. Just tried to do the double-double.
Oh, did he go for...
triple-double, sorry. Went to the right. That was all very close.
If those last two were a little bit closer, that would have been Kurtz for sure, because he was deep in the corner. Here's Paulin going around the outside of Tonis just a moment ago. So...
makes it look easy when you just see that part. You don't see the 2 laps before when you're just really trying.
The 3-4 corners before that as well, leading into what was then quite a successful pass from Gauthier Paulin. But in a moment, we'll just talk about the upcoming Red Bull Motocross of Nations. But 21 Paulin now up into fourth place. Two weeks' time, we're off to Denver, Colorado for the Motocross of Nations. Josh, I noticed you were looking at the list before we went to the first race. Any teams there that catch your eye in particular? Of
course, America, home race, managed to win last year. A little bit lucky to win, but they won. And France changing up a little bit with the team with some injuries come in last minute. Belgium's always solid, they're always there. Van Horebeek riding well at the moment.
Italy as well, reinstated. David Philipparts and Tony Cairoli. They had to be there really, didn't they, for the biggest race? But
the form Tony's got at the moment, I honestly believe if he can keep the form he's had in the last month, he'll have something for Dungey, and that's what we want to see. So.
And what about you and Ben and Brad Groombridge?
Yeah, Brad's first time, so we're not really sure what to expect from him, but Ben, of course, will be good, and hopefully I can do well also, and we can be sort of near the top 5 would be nice.
With a decent result from Groombridge, do you think it's possible for you guys and Team New Zealand to get on the podium?
Only if it's wet. I wouldn't have said in the dry. It's too much to ask from him, but in the wet, it's possible. So I think we're First Nations, he's 19, so we've got a few more runs out of him, so hopefully it's really daunting, the first Motocross of the Nations. There's a lot of pressure, and so hopefully he just enjoys it and can do well. And
what about the future for Josh Coppins? Obviously, we know initially you're going to be heading home to New Zealand, doing some racing in Australia as well, but in years to come, do you think you'll be... Are you cut out for management material, or I mean, I don't think so. I don't think I am cut out for management material, but I think I've got possibilities back here in Europe, and I'd like to think I'll stay in New Zealand, but I just think it'll be too slow for me there afterwards, and I'll want a bit more of a challenge. And within the industry, I think I'll end up back here in Europe, but you never know. I just one step at a time, and lucky enough to have a great career so far, and we'll just go from there. I know over the past few years as well, you've had some real loyal supporters. Yeah, sure. Fro Systems, Mark McCann, also Alpine Star's been with me a long time. Scott Goggles, 12 years. Thor, Aero Helmets, a lot of people, a lot of sponsors that have been with me, and I'm lucky enough to have a good relationship with them, but also a friendship. So Trucks R Us, Vans, a lot of people, too many to mention. Yeah, and obviously you don't come from a motocross family, but you're obviously well involved with another motocross family, the Church family. Tom Church, future brother-in-law, I suspect, possibly, but obviously the Church family. Yeah,
I hope so.
But the whole Church family.
They're all here to watch me, you know. So the whole family, which is great. You know, they're much more into it than my parents are, and my parents sort of just. My dad always says, "Why didn't you win?" And I say, "Well, it's quite hard, Dad." And he's he just doesn't understand. So it's nice to have them with me and the Church family, and yeah, we'll end up back here, hopefully spending more time with them in the future.
Okay, well, I know that you've got to get back down to the grid for MX1 Race 1, but Josh, for now, thanks for joining us here. Thanks for being a part of the FIM Motocross World Championship for the past, what, 15 years?
Well, 17 really, but I missed 1 year in there, so 15. So 15 years I've been in Europe, so quite a long stint. Haven't been home in New Zealand for longer than 6 weeks in 15 years, so it's a long time.
Well, like you say, it's been a pleasure having you. You certainly shook up the World Championship year when Stefan could have won a perfect season. Thanks for joining us here, and good luck your final Grand Prix ever.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
No problem. Thanks for being here. Josh Coppins, everybody. Well, we're back here with the MX2 Race 1 live. Ken Roczen still leads. He's only got a 4-second advantage, though, over Musquin with Van Horebeek in third. And we're on board with Alessandro Lupino, who currently down in 14th position, trying to close down on the MVR Suzuki rider of Mattis Caro. But in 7th position, Michael Lieb, who... before we came here, down in 20th position, his best result of the season is a 7th in the second moto at Uddevalla in Sweden on that Bud Rockstar Kawasaki. But there you see him just trying to close down. Obviously, back marker just ahead of him, but he's got 3 seconds ahead of him. Zach Osborne on the bike at Cosworth Yamaha, just disappearing under the Tecker Bridge there in the red on the bike at Cosworth Yamaha. There is Michael Lieb under the tuition of Jackie Vlimon, the former world champion as well. And actually, since he first stepped on the Grand Prix scene, he should have rode the Portuguese Grand Prix at Agata, but he picked up a wrist injury. He fractured a bone in his hand just during the week for that, so he had to sit out the GP there. But he tried to ride in Belpuig, but unfortunately for him, just maybe a little bit too early. And as a result, Michael Lieb, no score in Belpuig, no score in the US in Glen Helen or the French Grand Prix at Saint-Jean-d'Angely. He failed to score in the first moto as well in Germany, but then he came home with a 10th, got the monkey off the back, got some points on the board, and was able to score an 11th in the first, or the second moto in Latvia. Since then, there was a double moto score for Michael Lieb with a 13th and a 7th, which was good enough for 9th overall at the Swedish Grand Prix. Unfortunately, 3 no scores, and it did not start by the time he reached the Czech Republic, but 9th in the first moto in Brazil. 3:31, one of the Lieber guys going down, Julian Lieber. So Lieber, who in the European MX2 Championship finished 8th this year, Julian Lieber, the Belgian, finding it considerably tougher here. In fact, we've got a bunch of European MX2 riders. Samuel Zani, who won the last round a week ago, is here, the Italian, riding 214. European MX2 riders that are here this weekend: Pier Filippo Patuzzo, Samuel Zani, Giacomo Del Segato, who we saw go down at turn 1. And we just saw Julian Lieber go down as well. But Joel Roulance, we just saw a glimpse there ahead of Jake Nichols. So that is the battle for 8th and 9th. As far as the championship goes, Zach Osborne, we already know our first 3 riders: Marvin Musquin, Ken Roczen, Stephen Frossard. Hurlings is currently 4th at the moment, but he's only 23 points ahead of Zach Osborne, who in turn is only 2 points clear of Joel Roulance. 5 further back is Simpson, and another 5 further back is Arnold Toner. So the battle for 5th place and certainly 4th place for Zach Osborne very much on indeed. And obviously, as the weekend progresses, we'll bring you the updates there. There is Sean Simpson, number 11 on the Red Bull KTM, comes over the line now behind Alessandro Lupino. They are 12th and 13th. Just behind them, number 91, Mattis Caro. Martin Macek is down in 15th position. Frossard now inside the top 20 in 16th. 16.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go in this first MX2 race here at the final round of the FIM MX2 Motocross World Championship. Ken Roczen has a 6.5 second advantage over Marvin Musquin. Third is Van Horebeek. Fourth, Gauthier Paulin. Fifth is Arnold Tonus, and he's still only about 3 or 4 seconds down on the Frenchman, the winner of the Grand Prix last weekend in Lira. Then we have Zach Osborne, who's only 3 seconds down on Tonus. So those two battling for potentially 5th place in the championship are really looking to square up to each other in certainly the remainder of this race and a second race a little later on. Michael Lieber's in 7th ahead of Joel Roulant. Jake Nichols down in 9th, Christophe Charlier in 10th, and Nichols is in his own little battle as well with Charlier in the championship, only 5 points behind the European champion of 2009. So Nichols just able to claw another point back on the Frenchman to try and secure what would be 12th place in the championship. Spoke to him a little earlier on in the day, Jake Nichols, on the Red Bull 8 Champlant KTM, and his goal this year really was to finish top 10, so he's come a little bit short there, but he also pointed out that the 2 machine problems that he had in Brazil didn't help things. And Lockett, he was riding with ankle ligament damage that he picked up at one of the British Championship rounds at Fox Hills just not too long before that race, and he wasn't able to get on the scoreboard there either. But he's looking for a good strong run-in, is Jake Nichols at this final round, also a member of the Motocross of Nations team for Great Britain, which is going to be on the 25th and 26th of December in the US. In about 2 weekends' time, he will join Dean Wilson of the Pro Circuit Kawasaki squad, a Scot, born in Scotland, but been living in Canada for the past few years. He's eligible to ride for Team Great Britain. Sean Simpson, we know, already decided to declare himself unfit. He goes for surgery immediately after this race, Monday, Tuesday of next week. So that place initially was possibly going to be filled by Billy McKenzie, who broke a collarbone a week ago at the AMA Outdoor National Championship race at Steel City. So Brad Anderson has been brought in. So we have Brad Anderson, Dean Wilson, and Jake Nichols is going to be Team Great Britain for the Motocross of Nations. Of course, we heard Josh Coppins talking a moment ago. Ryan Dungey, Trey Canard, Andrew Shaw, the American team. The French have a strong team as well. Christophe Pourcel, Marvin Musquin, and Xavier Borg on the Kawasaki. Belgium can't be ruled out either. Steve Ramon, Jeremy Van Horebeek, Clement de Salle. Max Nagel, Ken Roczen, and Marcus Schiffer, not a bad team either. They finished 4th last year. Great Britain we've just mentioned, and Kai Rowley, the shirt issue that initially prevented David Philipparts and Tony Cairoli from competing there has now been resolved, I'm pleased to say. So it's now not Davide Guarneri, Alessandro Lupino and Manuel Moni, but instead Cairoli, Philipparts and Lupino. So it really is going to be quite a mouth-watering occasion in a couple of weeks' time. But here we are, the final round in 2010 of the Grand Prix Series, and there is Jake Nichols and Christophe Charlier, number 430 on the Garibaldi Yamaha. So they're in their own little battle for 12th place in the overall standings. Ken Roczen was pretty, well, I won't say it wasn't necessarily dominant in the qualifying heat yesterday. He did lead every lap, but him and Marvin Musquin no more than the 1.048 second gap suggested as they came over the line. So Marvin Musquin was able to keep Roczen honest in the heat race yesterday. But at the same time, Roczen, that man there on the Tech Europe Suzuki, I think there's going to be possibly an announcement made this evening after the second moto about what Roczen is doing. Pretty much everybody in the paddock knows where he's going to be going and what he's going to be doing, and obviously they're going to make an official announcement after the second moto, so make sure you tune in to the various internet sites, motocrossmx1.com in particular, at the end of the day, because that'll be quite an interesting announcement there. But Marvin Musquin in second position now, 10.5 seconds down, has absolutely nothing to prove, but you would feel that Marvin Musquin, if he's happy to sit behind Ken Roczen in his first moto, maybe he wants to go after the young pretender to his crown, the German Roczen, in the second moto, because obviously Roczen, he's going to be around in MX2 next year, of that we are sure, and is going to be one of the title favourites, along with Jeffrey Hurlings, possibly Zach Osborne, but maybe even Jeremy Van Horebeek. But Marvin Musquin, as we know, is going to be plying his trade in the USA during the Supercross and outdoor season. And at the moment, Marvin Musquin has 14 Grand Prix victories to his credit, coming in the last 2 years. He now has 2 world titles as well, and I'm sure he would want to go there as a 15-time Grand Prix winner, which there is Samuel Zaney, 2-on-4. So disappointment for the young Italian, who was victorious last weekend at the final European MX2 round of the season. Alessandro Lupino we're on board with on the Ritchie Yamaha. But having a lonely ride in third, he's about 15-16 seconds clear of Gauthier Paulin, who's in fourth. He's 6 seconds down on Marvin Musquin in second. So the CLS Kawasaki rider, Jeremy Van Horebeek, who, another rider who's had a bit of an up and down season. A couple DNFs in there. He had a big crash in the first race at Kegham's Latvia, round 9. Couldn't go out in the second moto because of big back and whiplash injuries kept him off the scoreboard. And of course, he lost a lot of ground in the championship just a week ago by not scoring in the first moto and finishing 13th in the second moto at Lierop, when we expected him to maybe perform well. But he was riding a little bit flu. With the flu was Van Horebeek last week, but he had to give way to the likes of Tonus and Simpson, and Rowlands was the biggest gainer last week. But looks like we're going down to pit lane, and the CLS Kawasaki squad to check in with the progress of Jeremy Van Horebeek. But looks like we're having 1 or 2 difficulties going down there, but obviously I'm sure they'll just drop in at any moment. But until then, Roczen's lead at the head of the field, 12 seconds now over Marvin Musquin. So is he going to pull the sneaky manoeuvre on Roczen and go out and surprise him with a victory in the second moto? It would be all square if it was to finish first and second, second and first. But it would be possibly Marvin Musquin who would take his 9th Grand Prix victory of the season. Just saw a quick glimpse of Joel Roulots, number 34 there on the Nissan GM Racing KTM. He is in 8th position, trying to close down the Kawasaki of Michael Lieb, just ahead of him, number 170. So Roulots, trying to see the gap between him and Jake Nichols, about 9 seconds. So it was a back marker that Roulots had just found a way past as he comes up to lap number 62, Clement Gertje on the 3C Yamaha, former European MX2 rider as well. But Tonus and Osborne. So Osborne, well, according to our timing screen, Tonus was 5th last time around, Osborne was 6th, so Osborne obviously found a way past Arnold Tonus. So this will be playing into the hands of Zach Osborne, because, what's that, 18, 16 points. So it'll just be a handful of points off of taking possibly 4th place in the championship from, problem there for Zach Osborne. He just found a way past Arnold Tonus, and just as he came up to the run-in towards the end of the lap, Zach Osborne has a problem with that light kick cause with Yamaha. Possibly he had a rock hit him right in the face yesterday in the qualifying race, split his lip, he thought it knocked his tooth out, possibly even chipped one of the teeth, but he was riding a little bit tentatively in the qualifying race with Zach Osborne, a finish in 8th position, but he's looking down. Has he lost looking down towards the brake pedal area? So not sure if he has a back brake problem there, but right at the time when he didn't need it, he'd just taken another couple of points. And just behind the hill there is obviously where he had a problem, I guess, but suddenly Zach Osborne, you see him just frustrated as Tonus goes by on the second of the Tech Europe Suzukis. So Osborne then, hopefully it was just a temporary thing for the American. Tonus, 368, just looking down, 356, so what, 5, 10, 12 points behind Osborne. He's going to snatch another point back there, so that'll be interesting for the second moto. Lupino. Is that Kulas just ahead of him? Possibly. 151, Harry Kulas in 11th place. Yep, Charlier comes over the line already, so he's ahead of this guy, this little battle. 6.5 minutes remain, and there's Frossard lurking dangerously in the background. So Frossard, who went down on the first lap, he's now in 13th position, trying to close in on the man with our onboard camera, Alessandro Lupino, on the Ritchie Yamaha. Whoa, don't leave the door too wide open there, Alex, because the man behind you, 183, Stephen Frossard, will be in no time at all. 151, Harry Kulas on the Garibaldi Yamaha, the front rider in that particular shot, just taking a tight defensive line. But look at that, you don't see the hard, slick surface like this too often. All the circuits much more groomed and rotivated, turned over, but you can see just on the line there where Frossard was coming into that final corner where he crashed on the opening lap, as he gets good drive coming up over the staircase and tripling his way through there. Lupino not able to, so Frossard able to work his way through the traffic with manoeuvres like that. Takes a look over his shoulder, knows Lupino's immediately there, but also wants to look just ahead of the game to see exactly where the next rider is. Well, he knew that Harry Kulas just ahead of him, but Nichols just a little bit further up the track in a battle with Christophe Charlier. So 5.5 to go, +2. A good crowd here this weekend, hoping to celebrate in the a Grand Prix victory, another one possibly for either David Philipparts or Tony Cairoli. We really are on the the hillside, the start right on the top end there, and pit lane. When you get to that first drop down, you look down and it just goes on and on and on forever, right down to that bottom end of the circuit. It's one heck of a descent down there. This TV angle doesn't really give it any justice, but that gives you some idea. That drop just a moment ago in the background, you drop all the way down. That in itself is about 110 meters to that next corner. So we're about 300 meters from the top of the hill all the way down to the bottom. Physical in a different manner, because we've got big downhills, hard braking, so the pressure on the upper body for the riders, as Frossard trying to find a way underneath Harry Kulas to try and claim another position, which would be 11th. Look how hard Frossard is having to work. Under the Rebutizer bridge he goes. And again, Kulas goes to the defensive inside line, making the Kawasaki rider in the middle, the 183 in that red clothing, just work away around the outside. So he has to try again. But you watch, here we go. Frossard is going to line up a pass here and possibly out-jump the second double and find a way past Kulas just there. Look, gets the distance. And we're going down pit lane to talk to Garibaldi Yamaha.
I know Harry's in a battle at the moment. He's only got about 5 minutes left. What do you think the overall outcome will be of today's first race for him?
Yeah, it's quite difficult because you have a not so good start, but keep staying in this position. We hope we keep the same position because Lupino is coming fast in the back. So we keep enough energies to stay in that position.
Thank you.
It's not Lupino you need to worry about because Frossard has come through and passed the pair of them. So Frossard then moves into 11th position. Christophe Charlier is the next man on the radar when he finds a way past the back marker there. Possibly Sean Mitchell, 550 on the Motorvision Racing Suzuki. His teammate, Mattis Caro, currently down in 15th place at the moment. Roczen already over the line now, completed 17 laps, waiting for Marvin Musquin to come over the line on the Red Bull KTM. As we're down the bottom end of the circuit. So 16 seconds the gap. Whoa, on board with Lupino, trying to find his way through. Sean Mitchell, who is a lap down. As we look at Lupino, that corner it's quite deceiving actually on that plateau, because you come around the turn onto the right and then suddenly you've come from uphill using the natural banking there, and then it levels off, so it kind of almost it becomes level, but it's almost off cambered as well at the same time, because the weight transfer for the suspension means that you just come over there, the back end gets a little bit light. You do that at the wrong time, the back end could come around on you. So you're at that point where you just float a little bit around there. This point here where Roczen is. And then obviously you have that little short stubby drop off into that step down. And Roczen really finding his form the second half of the season. As we said, the last 11 motos already taken 6 wins to Marvin Musquin's 1. And the Tekka squad look on. Just saw a glimpse there of the tall German, Thomas Ramsbacher, former rider himself, former enduro rider as well in his later riding career. and been a good guide to Ken Roczen this last 2 years. But as we said, quite a major announcement being made at the end of the day, possibly in the final press conference of the season. But Marvin Musquin, the now two-time world champion, finding himself 16, 17 seconds off the pace. But that's where Frossard was good as well, just getting up over that double-double. A lot of riders slamming into the final one there. And then look how Musquin had to stretch it out there for that double-triple. Then over the finish line jump under the Red Bull arc. But he looks comfortable there in that second position. Well, as we look at Marvin Musquin, we're getting ready to go down the pit lane. Here we go. Here's Lisa. Hopefully, Lisa.
But you know, after yesterday's announcement, also you and Husqvarna must be really looking forward to next year's MX2.
Ma sì, per noi è molto interessante riuscire ad entrare in MX2 perché è il campionato di riferimento per i giovani, per la 250 che stiamo sviluppando. Fino adesso abbiamo corso l'MX3 con ottimi risultati, facendo 2 secondi posti negli ultimi 2 anni, ma sicuramente diciamo la Formula 1 del fuoristrada sono proprio queste gare MX1 e MX2 e Husqvarna vuole veramente rientrare velocemente a questo campionato.
Thank you and best of luck. Well, we do want to come back next year and race the MX2 World Championship. I think we have a good bike that we're still developing in the European MX2 Championship. We've done also the MX3, but now it's time for us to go back where we were in 2005 and race again the World Championship MX2 and MX1.
Yeah, and at the moment, 2 riders, or I guess it's going to be 2 riders, not 100% confirmed. But they finished second in the European MX2 Championship this year with Andrea Cervelin. It could have been a 2-3 actually, because Jernej Eert, the Slovenian, was in second position up until the final round in Switzerland, Geneva last weekend. But he had a prang in the first moto, did Eert, and had a 7th in the second moto. But Cervelin, though, was the beneficiary of that, going from 3rd to 2nd. But it was Stephen Lenoir, the Frenchman on the Suzuki, who didn't have his best Grand Prix of the season, or best round of the season, last weekend in Geneva, but he was still able to clinch the championship in the first round. So I'm assuming that Steve Lenoir will be joining us in MX2 next year, hopefully. And maybe Andrea Cervelin, maybe Jernej Eert as well. But we've got some good talent. Luke Hawkins, just while we're on the mention of the European MX2 Championship, Luke Hawkins on the PAR Honda, the young Brit, was in his own private battle with Pier Filippo Bertuzzo for that 5th place, which is, I'm led to believe, for the automatic qualifying position for coming into MX2 next year. So it was Hawkins who managed to snatch that position from Bertuzzo by having a steady ride in Geneva at the weekend. But a moment ago, we saw Michael Lieb just getting it out of shape there as he was on the way to passing Zach Osborne, who's still suffering with a problem with that bike at Yamaha. So Roczen is our leader still, 17.5 seconds clear of Marvin Musquin's Red Bull KTM. Van Horebeek's CLS Kawasaki is still 3rd. Gauthier Paulin's Monster Energy Yamaha is still 4th, with Arnold Tonus 5th. Joel Roulant's that man there on the Nissan GM Racing KTM, number 34. He is in 6th position, but he's only 3 seconds clear of Michael Lieb, who's found a way past Zach Osborne. So not good for Osborne in the closing stages of this race. The good news for him is, despite those problems, Charlier is still around about 15 seconds back. So he's going to be rather unlucky, Osborne, if he's going to lose that 8th position in the next 2 laps. But we don't exactly know the extent what the problem is. Maybe he's just a little bit frustrated now, Zach Osborne, and the rhythm has gone, the concentration has gone. But certainly, initially he looked down, he was frustrated, suffering possibly some kind of malfunction on that motorcycle, but hopefully by the second race we'll be able to shed some light on that. Arnold Tonus, though, he won't be too bothered about that, because that means he's taken a few points out of Osborne in the battle for potentially, well, certainly for 5th, but maybe even 4th place in the overall standings. Joel Roulant's again, he's there in 6th position. He currently holds an advantage over Tonus to the tune of what? 10 points is the gap between Roulants and Tonus. Tonus going to steal, what, 18, 16, 15, another point. So that'll be down to 9 points. So the battle for 4th place very much on. The battle for 5th not decided either. And Van Horebeek, who he could take a snatch as well at 4th place, 5th place in the championship. Maybe 5th, though, more realistic for him. But he's 3rd place at the moment in this first moto, as we're on our final lap with Ken Roczen on the Tech at Europe Suzuki, coming up to lap Sean Simpson, who's 16th But we know Simpson riding with a damaged shoulder. He crashed in the qualifying race yesterday, did Simpson, when he had somebody's front wheel, somebody's foot peg go through his front wheel. He went down, picked the bike up, rode with, 3 or 4 damaged spokes. They were all broken. But he just managed to bring the bike home, did Sean Simpson, in 22nd position in qualification yesterday, but not exactly where he wanted to be. But nothing else that he could do other than just bring it home in that 22nd position. He was lapped in that race yesterday as well, but Ken Roczen, though, as he goes under the sponsors bridge for the final time in his first moto, he's completed 20 laps. It'll be a 21-lap moto for Ken Roczen, double up and over the staircase towards the start area, double single for him through there, no risks needed. He goes past pit lane, salutes the Seki Europe Suzuki squad and pulls off a big whip as he crosses the Red Bull finish line jump. It's another win for Ken Roczen in 2010. He's going to wait down the bottom there to congratulate, I'm sure, Marvin Musquin, who will come home in 2nd position on the Red Bull KTM. We're still waiting for him to come over the line now as Nikolai Larsen goes through, the back marker, who finished in 17th place in that first moto. Musquin over the line, 17.5 seconds down, and already congratulating Marvin Musquin, just sharing